I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you don't mind taking your seats, we're going to kick it off. I am joined by the Secretary General, Mr. Bharathlal of the National Human Rights Commission in India. You just landed yesterday, I'm told. I'm impressed that you're standing and so animated and have the energy. We want to kick it off because we're talking about India's equality moonshot. Tell me a little bit in the human rights space of what you're doing when it comes to this moonshot.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rina. As you all know that India is a country of 1.4 billion people and with 22 languages, 1,800 dialects, and it's a very, very diverse country. So National Human Rights Commission is basically there to protect and promote human rights of all human beings and what is enshrined in our constitution: equality, justice, liberty, and fraternity. That is our core work which we do. And in this space, as we all know that in a diverse country like ours, which has 8 major religions, 4 originated in India and 4 came from West Asia, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Zoroastrianism. And in Indian subcontinent, Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism. So it's such a diverse country with so many languages and 5,000-year-old civilization. It has deep traditions, deep culture, and our job is as National Human Rights Commission is to ensure that human rights of each and every individual, civic and political rights, as well as socio-economic and cultural rights are protected, promoted, and everybody, the Constitution which has guaranteed, those are respected.
You say that it's true, the Constitution of India has these rights to protect of citizens, but when it comes to women, gender is such a big topic. What are you doing to protect the rights of women in India?
So in India, as you all know that unlike West, since age, India, women are basically, I would say, to the extent that they are worshipped. But in between, yes, there have been aberrations and there have been certain, especially in last 1 millennia, when invaders came and, a lot of, those kind of problems arose. But post-independence, India is perhaps one of the first country which gave civic and political rights to each and every person, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, gender. In fact, most of the Western democracy and in US also, it took a lot of time and struggle to get voting rights. But A, in India, it has been done from day one. And B, kindly see the ethos of India, that when the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was being drafted, Eleanor Roosevelt took the lead and it was, So the opening in the first Article 1, the statement was that all men are born equal and free. And it was an Indian delegation led by Dr. Hansa Mehta. She was professor in MS University, Vadodara. Professor Hansa Mehta and Dr. Lakshmi Menon. These 2 persons ensured that in Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the sentence was used that all human beings born equal and free. That shows the ethos of this country. This is the ethos that each and every person has to be treated and equal. So far as the Constitution is concerned, as you know, it has given equal rights, and National Human Rights Commission ensures that if in government schemes, government program, or state authorities are failing in their duty to ensuring equality, here we come, and this is our role, to ensure that justice is done.
You mentioned former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, and she was a big person in the movement of women to get the voting rights. Why do you think it is, Commissioner, that when we look at our situation here in America, we just had President Trump take office in the White House. You've managed to have a prime minister who is a woman, but still in America we're struggling to have a woman elected president.
Well, I'm not in position to comment about US, but one thing I would say that...
I'm saying this not as a political question, more as a cultural. You're talking about how it's embedded in Indian society, right?
And, but yes, I would like to comment about Indian society, as you know that, and you mentioned, more about even Asian society. Please see that first female prime minister in the whole world came in Asia. It was Srimao Bandaranaike in Sri Lanka. Take Israel, Golda Meir, she came actually. In India, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, came. In Bangladesh, two women leaders, they became prime minister. Go to Myanmar, go to Philippines. I think this is culture there. And in India, I very later when I tell people that when it comes to these kind of things, in terms of knowledge, wealth, and power, and we believe, many of us believe in some kind of supernatural power and God. These three are basically represented by women force. So there is goddess for wealth, there is a goddess for knowledge, and there is a goddess for power. So this is the culture actually that in India, in Indian subcontinent, acceptance, not tolerating, acceptance is there. When it comes to electoral, electioneering or at the time of voting, I don't think gender has any role to play. At least what is my observation is that people are willing to vote for female, candidates. And more importantly, see, we have 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution where local self-government have been formed. In local self-government, 50% seats are reserved for women. And last year, present government has passed a bill where basically 1/3 of the seats in our state legislatures and parliament have been reserved for women.
And does it work? Do you believe having these allocations in local and national work?
Yes. One example I'll give, as on date, 1.4 million local level leaders are working in self-government as people's representative, And I'm pretty sure that when after delimitation, this is implemented, that 1/3 seats are reserved for women. I'm pretty confident that 1/3 of our legislatures and parliamentarians are going to be women. But more importantly, this country has prepared in last 30 years. The women leaders have been prepared, what we call basically responsible and responsive leadership. That you, step by step, you build leadership from grassroots. So local self-government, district level, then state assemblies, and now at the nation level.
I do a podcast called The Hidden Economics of Remarkable Women, looking at countries like Africa and India. And when you look at marginalized communities, how are you helping as the Secretary General to bridge the divide with these communities? You've got a caste system in India, right?
So kindly appreciate that in this hall when we are sitting, and most of the women, they look like homogeneous group. But India, 700 million women. Please accept that they are not homogeneous group. There are rural areas and remote areas where women conditions, their circumstances are totally different, which is metros. Age-wise, there could be women who are in late 50s, 60s, and 70s. Their conditions are totally different. The young women who are joining workforce. So I think in India, there are basically, since ages, there have been a caste system. So two communities, scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, have been identified, which are, to some extent, they are marginalized. They have been marginalized. And since independence, continuous efforts are being made to make them equal partner in government, an equal partner in development, and equal partner in economy. What we are doing actually at the both government as well as National Human Rights Commission, that a number of affirmative actions in terms of education, job opportunities, loaning, entrepreneurship, skilling, and basic amenities. Like government has started that in India, no one should be left behind. Every family should have a house. Every family should have tap water connection, electricity, toilet, cooking gas, universalization. And of late, basically, universal income, concept of universal income is coming, and women are being given, direct benefit transfer, some monthly money. So our idea is that these marginalized section of society, they are not left out. And lastly, as my predecessor in the previous session, it was mentioned that digital physical infrastructure and digitalization has taken a big way. And imagine today, when we are sitting here, 1 billion people in India are using internet. And majority of them are basically in a rural area. Because the absolute number, 70% population lives in rural area. So rural area women are also using internet. And payment system, one of the best payment system India has developed, which is very efficient and very, very cost effective. So I think all these put together, just imagine that 550 million bank accounts were open in just 1 year, what we call Jan Dhan account, no minimum balance. And 66% accounts are in the name of women.
What a change. I mean, when you're talking about the technological revolution in India, I mean, I remember, I'm from Florida, but I would go back to Kerala in the summers, and I remember my aunt getting a landline, and 10 years or so waiting to get that landline in India in the 80s. And today, to be able to bank online with internet access is a very big deal. It opens up capital to women who never would have had a chance.
See, one example I'll give that, concept is today that government should be going to people. See, for driving license, take example, you are sitting at your home, you apply online, you will get this thing. If testing is required, you go only. Year and a half back, I was looking after one scheme, Jal Jeevan Mission. It's a $50 billion scheme for 5 years, where each household to be made tap water connection. And imagine, any family need not to come to government or agencies. Our people will be going to door using digital physical infrastructure, what you call Aadhaar card, and verifying that this family has water connection or doesn't have water connection, has electricity connection, has toilet, has cooking gas. So imagine the approach is that government should be going to people's door, ensuring it that each and every family has this facility. And digital physical infrastructure is basically helping in speed and scale. The work is being done is basically speed. Just imagine, earlier in 30 or 40 years, 32 million households were given tap water connection. In 30, 40 years. Every year, last 4 years, 32 million households are being given new tap water connection.
Secretary General, before we go, I want to ask you one final question. We're here talking about the Moonshot in India. Tell me a little bit about this platform.
So we firmly believe that, and very basic economics, that instead of one person earning in one family, if you are able to create safe and secure workplaces and public spaces, and more importantly, enabling environment at home, means all basic amenities, followed by skilling and education, women can contribute immensely in basically speeding socioeconomic development and ensuring high economic growth. So Government of India and National Human Rights Commission, all we have put our collective wisdom and experience and might that women should find a place so they should be able to realize their full potential. And idea is that women issues, women agenda should become everyone's agenda. And I'm very happy that last time when I came, in fact, this was my closing remarks, that let's not make women's issue only women's agenda. It should be everybody's business, everybody's agenda. And I'm pretty sure that in India that is being done. And in fact, we are planning, I had some discussion with Ms. Rupa Das that maybe next summit, this kind of meet, which can be held, organized in India. And we will share our experiences, our learning, and especially for Global South, if you want to achieve SDGs, if you want to ensure quality of life and basic amenities to everyone, I think India has a lot to share that.
I look forward to having Chole and Bhatura with you in India and talking the big issues. I want to thank you so much. So much of this are lofty goals sometimes. And you have shown, you're talking about there are tangible ways to bring drinking water to millions of people, tangible ways to get banking to women and digital access. When you are looking towards the future, as you're looking to grow, what's your benchmark? What do you want to be judged by as far as progress for India by the time you leave office?
Well, I think whole world basically keeps eye on growth rate, GDP growth rate, and this thing. But I think India has made it very clear that we want improved quality of life and ease of living. Our focus is that we should ensure that each and every family have all basic amenities, and more importantly, they should be able to realize their full potential. It means quality education, it means enabling environment, it means a more entrepreneurship, and and above all, as you all know, that a country of 5,000-year-old civilization, it has certain value system. India is one country who never in history attacked any country actually. From anywhere in the world, if there have been some problem, refugees came, it gave space. If you see the history, whole history, for short of time, I would not like to narrate, but if you see from 8-10 countries in major events, you say World War II, Polish children came, then you see Tibet, refugees came, then East Pakistan, Bangladeshi refugees came, then Myanmar, then African countries, all crises, this thing. So idea is that this country should be able to provide assistance, help, and whatever it has, share with rest of the world. Because we firmly believe that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means whole world is one family. So whatever little bit we have, we would like to share. And you have seen during COVID, during crisis, we reach out to different countries, especially Global South. In fact, that is the spirit. You must have noticed that during G20 presidency, as India was sharing the, this thing, Indian government led by Honorable Prime Minister made every possible effort to include African Union, like European Union, on the G20 grouping.
I love what you said. Every country is one world. It was one family. Mr. Bharat, I want to thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Rina, and thank you all very much for having me here. Thank you, Rupa.